I'm Vikram from PT Wired, CEO. I've also got Marla from BetterPT and Brian Lang, who's the owner of Whole Body Health Physical Therapy out in Portland, Oregon. Um, Basically, we're kicking off this partnership. I'll kind of give you a background on what PT Wired is, and Marla will tell you a bit more about BetterPT, and of course, we'll go through the integration. But I guess kind of off the bat, a lot of people, when I introduce this concept of, the combination of home exercise programs and appointment scheduling, a lot of people didn't clearly see the link right off the bat. They were kind of thinking, what are the, like, what's the relation between those two? So I'm going to just kind of hand it to Brian, and he can kind of talk from the clinic owner's perspective of how we kind of came up with this idea of linking the two.
Sure. Thanks. And I just want to thank all the clinic owners, managers, and staff PT for being out here, because it's either really late for you or you just got off work like I did. And, it's always like another thing. But I really am excited about this integration with BetterPT and PT Wired. So I'm excited to kind of go through my workflow. And just so you know, I was a BetterPT and PT Wired user before this integration, but this integration really is something that's made my company more streamlined, leaner, and it just lets me meet my clients both inside and outside the clinic with where their needs are. So I'll walk through kind of like the workflow that previously I was doing before, and just kind of showing you that each step had an opportunity for failure in terms of just getting someone to come back into the clinic. So this is the old process that we used, and maybe you have a better process, but this is what we did. So let's say that I reach out to an old patient that I haven't seen for a while via the PT Wired messaging system. And I say, hey, how you doing? Just wanted to check in. So the patient messaged me back, and she says that her low back is re-aggravated with pain, and she wants to go back in the clinic to be treated. Great. Okay. So now here's where the steps become kind of a problem. Now I have to remember to send an internal message to someone at my front office to call the patient to schedule a visit, right? Second thing I have to do, or someone has to do, is the front office has to remember to call the patient on top of all the tasks they already have to do during the day. Then we have to hope that the patient actually picks up the phone, or else we're going to be playing phone tag. And then there's another opportunity where, hey, we just forget. We did enough phone calls and we forgot to follow up again. So I hope you can see there that like there's just a lot of places and chances in that process to have a failure at some step. And if it does happen, now you have a client who is in discomfort and at the same time not happy because they couldn't get scheduled in the first place. So you might have an unhappy customer. And now with the integration between PT Wired and BetterPT, it's so simple. Honestly, if you take the same example, patient messages you and says that they want to come in for an appointment. Now, all I really have to say is, we got you covered. Just book an appointment with me through the same app messaging system that you're messaging me in, and we'll get you covered and we'll get you feeling better as soon as possible. So it's really that simple. And if you think about it, we want something like our home exercise platform to be the place where our clients congregate. It's our best way to engage with them even outside the clinic. So by integrating a scheduling option, it's just really made a huge difference in streamlining the process. That's all I gotta say.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. So I'll give a quick background on PT Wired, and then we'll just jump straight into it to show you what the integration looks like. So I'm going to share my screen here. And with PT Wired, obviously, I've been saying that we represent the home exercise program piece of this partnership, but really we're more of a patient engagement platform in general. Obviously, home exercise program is one component of what we do, but as I'll show you, and as you'll come to find out in the demo, there are a lot of other pieces. Home exercise is kind of the first way that we get a patient to download the app to their device. But once you have an app on a patient's device, there's so much more you can do than just provide home exercise programs. So to start, one of the big differentiators between us and a lot of the other home exercise program systems out there is that you get your own custom branded mobile app. So for example, this group, Merson PT, who also works with both us and BetterPT, rather than their patients going to their phone and looking at PT Wired or some other generic third-party app, they get their own app. Their patients are looking at the Merson PT app with that logo, that color scheme. They never see our name at all. So it creates a much more personalized branding experience for the patient. And it's also an impressive one because, obviously a, PT clinic who has their own app and gives the impression that they kind of built something from scratch, that's a pretty impressive thing for a patient to be able to, experience through their course of care. So this app is available on the App Store. It's available on the Google Play Store, also available via web. So there's lots of different ways that they can access the app. And again, as they're opening up their phone, however 10, 15 times or a lot more that we do a day, now they're actually seeing your logo, seeing your brand on there. And again, since they know it's not just home exercise, that can be a constant prompt of, oh, I need to, book an appointment or pay my bill or do all these other things that we can't do through the app. So on the app, obviously home exercise program with video-based instructions is kind of the start. That's how we get somebody to download it. We say, hey, we've got these videos for you on here. It's a tremendously valuable tool for them from an educational standpoint. And we've got this messaging system that you can see here on the right. So just from those two, it provides such value to the patient that they're willing to, go through the process of downloading the app to their phone. But once it's on their device, so many other things we can do and that PT Wired provides, such as reminders to keep the patient on track, awards and achievements. You'll see here on the left, they get trophies and medals to keep them on track, keep them accountable to doing their exercises, accountability and progress tracking. So you can see everything that the patient's done on the app or hasn't done and kind of hold them accountable from the provider side. And it also helps them to be able to track their progress over time. And then messaging system, HIPAA compliant messaging platform where you can message your patients can message their PTs. Great way to keep in touch in between clinic visits. And bill pay, patients can pay bills through the app, in-app marketing features, lots of customizable marketing features that you can have, such as the ability to ask patients to leave Google reviews and Facebook reviews, create some type of promotions or announcements or advertisements on the app. Lots of different options there. So if you're interested in some of those, book a demo. We're not going to get into those. We're more focused on the last piece, which is integrated appointment scheduling. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to live demo on my phone here. So I have this linked up to my device, and I'll just be kind of demoing right here on my device as we go along. And Brian, owner of Whole Body Health PT, I've got his app here. And again, this is fully branded to him. You'll see they have the logo here. Any custom message or announcement that they want to put at the top, they can always have a customizable message there for a marketing experience. And me as a patient, first I'll go through the exercises. So I can hit start my exercises here, and I've got all my exercises that are set up by my PT. We've got a whole provider portal. Again, if you're interested in seeing that, just book a demo. I'm happy to walk you through that. But for now, I'll just go through the patient side. And I can basically go through here, look through the different exercises that my PT has assigned for me, mark exercises as complete. As I mentioned, I'll be getting these awards and achievements as I go through. So kind of gamifies it for the patient a bit. And basically, I can kind of go through and have a very engaging multimedia access to my exercise program. So what I'll do is I'll basically just look through a couple exercises here. And under messaging, this is where I can actually engage with my PT with messages. So I've got Brian, my PT here. I can open up my messages and kind of see the convo that we already had. And shoot any message if I want to communicate with Brian. And what's nice about this is kind of how Brian was mentioning, under the experience that I have as a patient, I could be in so many different positions here that could lead me to book an appointment. I could be going through my exercises and just excelling and, have gone through them for the 5th day in a row where they're just easy. And then I'm thinking, all right, like my back still hurts a little bit and these are easy, I should go back into PT and get the next set of exercises or see what's next. On the other side, maybe I'm going through and it's awful. I can't do any of the exercises. Everything's hurting. It's a real struggle. That's another perfect time for me to book an appointment and go back into PT. And if I'm messaging with Brian and communicating some of this to him, he can just tell me, hey, like, I think it's time for me to see you again. Just book an appointment right there on the app. And that avoids that whole loop that Brian was talking about him telling me to book an appointment, me having to remember to call the clinic, me hoping that the clinic answers, and the clinic having to remember if they're not busy when I first call. All these things that there could be failure points anywhere along the way because there's just so many steps. So a few last things I'll show on the app. I can look at the achievements, the different awards that I've gotten and the ones I'm still working toward. Bill pay, if I want to securely pay a bill, we've got a link in there to pay bills actually directly within the app. Languages, if you have a foreign patient, there are tons of different languages here where you can basically just pick a language and it'll translate the entire app into that language. So that's really helpful for patients if English isn't their first language. But I'll go to the appointments now. And this is where we built this integration with BetterPT's platform. And you can see it links us straight into BetterPT, all securely within the app. And here I'm in Greensboro, but if I was a bit closer, you could probably notice that all of these locations that are listed, it will automatically look at my location and show me the ones that are closest to me. All of these are, of course, a bit far away since Brian's out in Portland, but that way, if I'm a patient opening up this app, the one that's the first one there is probably the one I'm going to end up picking. So I'm going to go through now and basically show what it's like to, like, I just was on messaging. Brian said, hey, I'll see you next week. And now I'm remembering, oh, I need to book my appointment for next week. I can just go in here, find the location that I want, and open up the page. I can see Brian here, and then I can say, it says request an appointment. I can just say in person, and then I'll pick follow up. I can also pick direct access here, and then continue to appointment times. From here, I've got Brian here. I could, check out his bio if I want to make sure that he's qualified to treat me, and then hit go to next availability. And here I see on the 10th, he's got a 1 p.m. Perfect. I can just click that, and then it brings in my information here. It confirms the details, follow up, no physician referral, 6/10 at 1 p.m. Pacific. Brian Lang, whole body health at Lovejoy. Perfect. Submit appointment request. And it's really that simple. That's it. I avoid having to call into the clinic. I avoid hoping that they pick up. I avoid having to look at my schedule while they're looking at the schedule. All these things are automated. And what happens now is basically I get this confirmation here, appointment requested. Your clinic should be in touch soon. Confirms the details here. And I can book another appointment if I want. But yeah, that's really it. And that's the kind of seamless experience that we want, where it doesn't have all these steps, doesn't have all these platforms, and it's all in one place that's already branded to the clinic in the first place. So I'll pass it off to Marla, and Marla will show what this looks like from the provider side. Once I've actually made a booking, how this will look like, what this looks like in the EMR.
Great, thank you. And I'll share my screen. So as soon as that patient submits that appointment request, we have integrated with EMRs so that it actually goes directly into the EMR system. So if you see, there's a notification within the EMR system and it shows that a visit needs approval. It inputs all the information that the patient has. It holds it as a block hold, so that way your front desk can't give it away at the exact same time. And it's up to the front desk staff to decide if they want to confirm this or decline this appointment. So they can go ahead and either choose confirm or decline, but I want to take a second and let you think about that. Your patient has now chosen a time that was available from your schedule, because we pull available times from your schedule, inputted their information in, it's pushed back, and your front desk gets the notification and says, works, sounds great, confirm. That is a significantly easier process than what you guys are doing now. And we don't, this is prompt that I'm showing you, but we integrate with many EMRs. I can pull up and show you clinician does the same thing, goes directly into the schedule. You can confirm it within that schedule. So please know we are EMR agnostic, but at the same time, it's a really nice experience for your patient and for your front desk. And I want you to understand that BetterPT and PT Wired has done this combination within that home exercise program. So you can really get those follow-ups scheduled, allows patients to do this on a Sunday night when your office is closed and they realize they forgot to book their appointments, and see what's available and really help your current patients get in. But we also are very much focused on redefining access to care and helping lead acquisition of brand new patients get in as well. We believe that everyone's a digital consumer these days. Yes, you still have the people who are calling, and yes, they're going to still call you. You've got those people. They're coming in the clinic. But there's a whole subset of people who interact with services in this way. They get their airline tickets, their lunch, their Amazon package with a click of a button. They want simple, instant, on-demand, convenient, and flexibility. And that's how they also want to interact with healthcare, right? So if you're still doing the process where the patient has to call you within your hours of operation, and then you call them and find out their insurance, get off the phone, couple back and forth, finally get them in, or you've got a form on your website, same thing. It's an email to your front desk who has to keep track, did I call that patient or not, and get them in. We believe that has low conversion rates. It doesn't provide you actionable data and insight, and you also have operational inefficiencies with this. So what BetterPT is doing is we've become that digital front door so that everywhere in your digital world we live, and you have that real call to action button. So that means, your website, your Google My Business, your Facebook, your email signatures, all of these touch points, having this call to action where a patient can actually self-schedule, we call it, but it's still a request because you have the final say, leads to increased conversion rates, leads for a more efficient patient process, less steps at your front desk, and also secure, right? You're getting that information, that PHI, securely, because right now, email, if they're sending over anything through your form on your website, email's unsecure, so you can't collect insurance, date of birth, anything like that. I'll show you a little bit of an example. Let me get to of where we put these. Like we said, your website is absolutely a spot where it exists. And let me pull that up. Having a call to action where the patient, as soon as they see your website, they can schedule an appointment. This is for brand new patients finding you. They get the process started. They're able to insert their insurance information, their injury, anything that's going on with them. You create that customized booking flow like you saw. We also highly recommend it to be on your Google My Business right here. Address, hours, phone. If somebody is outside your hours of operation, give them that appointment link where they can schedule. Give them that actionable item that they can do. Same thing with your Facebook. If you still have a send message, you really want to update that to book now. That's what it should be instead of send message, because you don't want people sending you a message through Facebook. And I think I went to the wrong whole body health here. This is not you, Brian, is it?
I wouldn't have the send message button up.
You wouldn't, exactly. All right, here we go. This is what you want to see. You want to see.
I think the one a little lower. Oh, that one works. Go back one. And I think our main one is down just a couple.
There we go. Perfect. Book now. That's what people on Facebook want to see. They don't want to send you a message through your Facebook. So again, this is our goal, is to make sure we are providing this optimal touch points. in your PT Wired home exercise program app, because they've got to do their home exercises. So now they have that touch point where they can book their appointments right in the app. And all of your Facebook, Google My Business, your website, email communications, your blog posts, you want to make sure if you've got that call to action, it's right there available for you. Same thing with QR codes. I know PT Wired's got great QR codes as well. So depending on where you put these, the one about scheduling should be at community events. It should be on your marketing flyers to doctors. Again, getting that patient in the door. And your PT Wired QR code should be right in the clinic so they can download that app and have it on their phone. So really, we just want to, together between us and PT Wired, is support your business. We want you to have 24/7 access to online scheduling for your patients that are already in your clinic and for brand new patients. We want to save time for you guys at the front desk. And we want you to actually have detailed information on lead and conversion tracking, because we do provide you that data as well. Just some nice stats here. When you add BetterPT to your Google My Business, you got about a 17% conversion rate. That's greater than what you had before. And we see about 45% of leads coming after hours. So think about that. That's when you wake up in the morning and you get to your front desk and there's a ton of phone calls with messages. Now with your PT Wired app, those now are actually appointments that you just click a button and confirm. And that leads to tons of saved hours at the front desk. This is a case study we did with a clinic over 1 year, showing the saved hours that they had. So, I'll turn it back to Brian, and the team and everyone, just to kind of give a little bit of a background of how this is working for you, Brian.
Oh, well, just one piggyback to what you said, Marla, about the one thing that I really enjoy about the BetterPT booking process is the language that's used. So when the patient makes the appointment, it basically sends a message that's like, we're confirming this. So it's not then they know that the front office is then going through it. It's not a guarantee yet. So then the front office makes that decision. Maybe they need to look at it and say, oh, are they eligible? Let's look at their benefits first, or whatever that is. And then they can either call the person up and say, hey, got your thing and we're confirming it, or they click a button, they approve it, and then the patient gets an email to them saying, you were confirmed, you're all set up, here's the appointment, here's the location. So it's just a really nice way of doing it. And there's also prompts to let your front office know, like, hey, you still got this one that you need to respond to. And then just like on a grander scale, in healthcare and in our sector, because I live in this sector all my life as a career PT, we've really been looking for something where there was more interoperability, where different softwares can talk to each other and then work together and then make the whole healthcare system better. And we're starting to see this. Like, this is the start. In my opinion, between PT Wired and BetterPT, I haven't seen anything else like it.
Thank you. Awesome. We appreciate that.
Yeah, it's just true.
Yeah. So I guess just some additional thoughts. For if you want to see, like, obviously, provider side and with us and all these other non-appointment scheduling features, we've got demos for that. Marla went through a little bit of non-PT Wired BetterPT features. There's a lot more to BetterPT than just what we've done. So she's got demos for that. I'm going to put some links in the chat, and those you can follow up there if you want to book demos or have any other questions. But yeah, I guess Marla, Brian, did you guys have anything else to add for now?
I would just really say that a lot of clinic owners they say, you know what, I've got a lot of patients coming in and they're Medicare patients or they're older, they don't really know how to use technology. And I say, you know what, the pandemic actually really changed that. Anywhere you go at a restaurant now, you've got to use a QR code no matter what age you are. That's the menu. My grandmother learned how to Zoom because that was the only way she was going to see her grandkids. And believe it or not, more people have adopted technology because of what's occurred to us in the last year. And that's also a very small subset, as you see the Gen X and the millennials just growing, those are your patients coming up and going to be your patients from here on out. So just remember, you want to, the reason we came into physical therapy is we want to provide access to care for everybody. And that means thinking all the way up to your oldest to your youngest. And these are the ways that you're reaching out and connecting with people, is digitally and also the traditional phone call way.
And I will just conclude with saying anything that takes some load off your front office staff with the increased prior authorization needs and just the medical jargon that they have to go through all the time with getting people scheduled is a win. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Awesome. Well, yeah, if you either of you have any questions, we're happy to kind of go through those now, and we can provide answers now also.
Brian, question for you. What EMR platform are you using?
I use Prompt.
You're using Prompt. Okay. Because we're still using Clinician. We're trying to segue into their web-based platform and just aren't real jazzed about it. So we're still server-based. So using the server-based platform, Marla, I doubt that it's integratable with PT, Wired and BetterPT, correct?
It is. It actually, Clinician is integrated both platforms, the web-based and the server-based. We've done bi-directional integration with them as well.
And the server-based?
Yes.
Okay. And then Brian, a conversation we can have another time, but I want to hear more about Prompt.
Oh yeah, I would love to stop.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I got no dogs in the fight with this. I just think that this is really good technology and really good partnership. So yeah, we can talk about it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Carl, so we actually also are partnering with Prompt. We're building an integration with them too. So I'll shoot you an email with some of my thoughts also regarding that.
Okay. Yeah, we had chatted about that about 6 weeks ago when we were on the phone. So just
Right.
curious a little more where that's at. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Ellis, did you have any questions?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
So, yeah, I was wondering, I mean, everything sounds awesome. We're actually, having a little bit of issues, with patients coming and having to come in kind of half an hour early to fill out paperwork. How would that work? I guess, Brian, from your perspective as the owner, when they schedule, let's say, an evaluation, they're on the schedule, but what about the information, intake forms they gotta complete and such? How does that work in this whole process?
Well, I'll tell you how our system works, but Marla probably has some other ways that it works because the nice thing about BetterPT is that there is a way to not be integrated in your EMR and still collect patient information. But because I use Prompt and it's already integrated, what essentially happens is the patient fills out a lot of their demographic information and you get all of their insurance, whatever they're willing to fill out. And then all I have to do is, the front office, that is, they confirm the appointment. And then through Prompt, I have the ability to just click a button and send the intake to them. So it's an automatic intake send. And the way Prompt works, I know this isn't a prompt thing, but they can fill it out digitally and then it becomes a digital intake on their chart, in their chart. So I can just read it before they even come in.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
For non-prompt users, for example, with WebPT, or WebPT Reach, may I say, we integrate the information right into WebPT Reach. So WebPT Reach can send out those intake forms. I don't think it's digital, but I think they have some way of doing it electronically. Same thing with Clinician. We insert it into Clinician, and I believe Carl, you might know a little bit better, but they're coming out with a system to do that digital intake form. I think it's just a little bit away, but they have that. And the other EMRs, when we insert into there, they have their process. So we've actually created a customized booking flow where you can ask as many questions prior to them submitting the appointment. You create your own flow, and if you want to ask if they're Medicare, how they heard about you, anything like that, you can collect that information prior to them submitting the request. But for like the oswestry, all of that, we pass it along to the next technology piece that tends to collect it, like Prompt.
Thank you.
You got it.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. like I said, we've got the links in the chat. So if you want to follow up, that's the place to do it. And we'll be sending out this recording also. But yeah, thanks, Marla. Thanks, Brian.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
hanging
guys.
in there, and good seeing both of you, Vikram and Marla.
Yeah, cool. Have a nice night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Good night.